What's the smartest payback you pulled without getting caught? When I first moved into my apartment building, I was thrilled. Finally, my own place. The rent was cheap, mostly because the building was old, but everything seemed fine until winter came. That's when the heat started cutting out every night at exactly 10 p.m. Even though our lease promised 24-hour heating, the temperature would plummet, and I'd wake up shivering under 3 blankets. I complained to the landlord more times than I can count. He always had excuses: repairs in progress, temporary issues, or just flat-out denial. After a month of this, I started noticing something odd. The landlord lived in the building too, on the top floor, in the biggest unit. And while the rest of us froze, his windows always stayed foggy with warmth. Suspicious. One day, when he came by to collect rent, I noticed he slipped a different key into his pocket, not one of the standard building keys. That got my curiosity going, so I watched. One evening, he made a trip to the basement, looked around like he was checking for spies, then used that key to unlock a small utility room. I waited until he left, then peeked through the little window on the door. Inside, I saw him adjusting what looked like the building's heating system. He was cutting off heat to everyone else while keeping his own apartment toasty through a separate connection. I was furious, but I knew better than to confront him. He'd just lie or retaliate, so I waited. I knew he visited his mother every weekend. The next Friday night, when the coast was clear, I put on gloves, a hoodie, and took a crowbar down to the basement. I broke into the utility room. Inside, I found a timer that shut off the heat to every unit but his. I took photos, disabled the timer, and restored heat to the entire building. While I was in there, I found a stack of official notices from the city, warnings about heat regulation violations. He had been hiding them from all of us. The next morning, I knocked on the door of the elderly couple on the second floor. They'd lived in the building the longest. The husband used to be a maintenance worker. I told them everything, showed them the papers, and begged them not to say it was me. They were shocked, but agreed to help. That afternoon, they hosted one of their usual building coffee gatherings. While people chatted and marveled at the magically working heat, the husband casually mentioned finding some papers near the mailbox. He showed everyone the violation notices. People were angry, but also scared. Nobody wanted to lose their home or end up without heat again. So, we made a pact. If the landlord asked, we'd all act clueless. If he tried to cut the heat again, we'd act like it had always worked. When the landlord came back Sunday night, he realized the heat was on in all the apartments. He stormed down to the basement and found the busted utility room door. He was livid, but couldn't say a word without revealing his scam. He asked around, but everyone shrugged. Didn't notice anything, we'd say. 2 months later, he sold the building. My guess? He couldn't find a new way to cut costs without blowing his cover. The new owners actually cared. They upgraded the heating system and didn't mess with it. The difference was incredible. With proper heat, people started coming out of their apartments again. We had monthly potlucks, people chatted in the hallways, and when spring came, we planted a rooftop garden together. It's been 3 years, and I'm still living here. The new management is great. The building's thriving, and no one, except that old couple, knows it was me who broke into that utility room and turned the heat back on.